Welcome to Direcast, where we play hard and dice hard. Here at Direcast, our group of 6 complete lunatics play different RPGs, bringing you a new game and system every few weeks. Except not this week, because this week we're doing another review episode. We're reviewing the games we've played so far in 2021. My name's Luki, and the question this week is, what weird thing do you think everyone should experience? And I think everyone should experience sleeping in a mixed room in a youth hostel, because it teaches you how to sleep anywhere, and it teaches you that no one gives a fuck about you. Oh. And it's a great leveler just for life, really. I think it's good for the ego.
Can confirm, have done this. You have to also accept that you're not going to sleep much.
Really? I can sleep anywhere. I once fell asleep with a monkey screaming at the end of my bed, but that's a story for another time.
Hi, I'm Helen, and one thing I think everyone should experience is trees. They're good for you. And studies have shown that you are more productive and heal faster if you are surrounded by trees.
Yeah, humans don't like not being around plants.
Humans like trees. I like trees.
We love trees. I like trees. No.
Shall I do one?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, I got fuck all. Sorry, I'm desperately thinking.
Mine is very lame and hippie at the same time, but
That's
I think everyone should try and grow something that then gives them food so they can eat the thing they grew, because it's super satisfying when you've planted a plant and been like, I ate you.
It is. It is. Do you remember those tiny carrots I grew last summer?
I not personally, no.
I mean,
I'm so sorry.
This. I will just say that living with H, this means that occasionally I'll be sitting at my desk. H will come downstairs, go around the desk, hold up something green and leafy, stare me in the eye, and put it in their mouth.
It was a baby lettuce. I needed to thin them out. There were too many, so I held up a tiny baby lettuce and was like, "This is a baby lettuce." And Helen was like, "I'm working." He just gave me the look of "I'm working."
I was going to say, you didn't say this is a baby lettuce. You stared me down, held up some green plant, and then put it in your mouth.
Yeah, it had a root and everything. I didn't eat the root. The root was muddy.
The way you said that, you didn't say it like H had consumed it. You sort of said it like H was planting it in themselves. Like a sort of large human plant pot.
Oh no!
What else is consumption?
Oh, fair.
Well, moving away from
quickly.
weird vegetation-based hazing rituals. I'll take a second run at this. Hi, I'm Jacob, and weird thing that I think everyone should experience: a proper church choral acoustic.
Hell yeah!
Like if you get places like Dowie Abbey, which have been precision engineered, or some of the there are a couple churches I sang in when I went on tour in Italy with my choir, where the sound took on a life of its own. And
it's amazing, isn't it?
The acoustic was an instrument of its own, and there were points where if we there was at least one church we sang in, which I think was in Rouen, but we would if we ended phrases with enough precision, you could hear the acoustic travelling down the church.
You two are so Christian.
I'm just sound engineer nerd.
It's not. I mean, it's not even about religion. It's it's so good.
No, but the idea of a church choral acoustic is religion.
Oh yeah, no,
you
absolutely.
Get in non-churches. One of the best I've ever had is in this government building in on Vancouver Island, where we just were doing a tour of it as a choir, and found this rotunda that had an amazing acoustic, so we sung Bogorodice. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Actually, genuine achievable idea. If anyone ever has the opportunity to go to a choral concert of some kind in Dowie Abbey in Berkshire, go.
I'm just saying, guys, trees.
Actually, forests have some really good acoustics. Oh my goodness, there's a woods near me.
No.
Where it is
forests have really good sticks.
Anyway, Peter.
Hello.
Introduce yourself.
Hello. My name is Peter, and I think that the one thing you kind of have to experience is the movies of Neil Breen. I don't know if I've used this before, but Neil Breen. So, I mean, there are ancient stories of the mead that carries poetry from the Nordic tradition. Apollo going around saying, "You're a poet and you're a poet." Somebody gave Neil Breen the means to make films, but nobody gave him anything else. So his films are. It's like they've been written by an alien, and what's his fateful findings? Something
Yeah, I'm looking at his filmography now.
Oh, can you tell me? Is it Faithful Findings or Fateful Findings? What's it called?
Fateful Findings.
Fateful Findings.
Oh, that.
It's
the cover of this film is hilarious.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen his later one, Twisted Pair. So all of Neil Breen's films are roughly the same sort of. It's sort of Neil Breen casts himself as a Jesus allegory, and then he goes around saving the world by not naming anything. And there's so that he can't get into any legal disputes. There are a lot of elements to Fateful Findings. If you look up the Fateful Findings drinking game, and you will understand.
So you were saying like the Norse mythology of like the mead that makes you a poet. He's sort of had the opposite of that.
Yeah, he's had one of Odin's farts. He's had the mead from Odin's farts, which is actually a part of the mythos.
As someone who actually knows a fair bit of mythology, I'm concerned.
What about Odin's farts, or about
always,
or about Neil Breen?
But also, what this man may have done to Odin's farts.
Oh, he is.
Huffed them.
Hello, I'm Matt, and I think the weird thing everyone should do is drink with the locals. Like, I think it doesn't matter like where you are.
Oh yes.
But like whatever you're doing, like if language ain't a barrier, take a moment to have a drink with the locals.
Even if
language is a barrier.
If language, you know what I mean, like within reason, like there's no point sitting at a table in silence with another person. You won't learn much. Well, you might. Anyway, but you know what I mean. Like always take time to have a drink with the locals. I think you'll learn the most interesting thing.
You might learn the German for piss off.
Peckerhaupt.
Ah, thank you.
No, fick dich. Sorry, it's fuck off. I think.
Yeah, it is.
What's that?
I know some
or
German,
they might
but I
just
don't know what the
accept
first one
you
you said.
as a
I had
lovely
some German
drinker.
friends, and I asked them to teach me some German, and they only taught me swear words.
Perfect.
Wait, I'm literally chatting to a German. I'll just ask them. Give me 20 minutes and I'll tell you.
Ask them what Pechgehabt means, or Pechgehabt, or however you pronounce it. Because I now can't remember.
Peggehabt is like have.
That sounds like get pissed or something.
Have piss. I think.
Yeah, so I think it is like piss off.
I think so.
Have some piss.
I just remember I was playing beer pong with these German dudes, and I scored the one and only goal I've ever scored in beer pong, and I went, "Yeah, bitches," and one of them just sidled up to me and went, "Next time, say ja, Schlampen."
That's so good.
Oh.
Now that we've learned so many things about ourselves and given you all a to-do list, let's get to this. So the first game we're reviewing is Feathers, which we actually played ages ago, but only aired in January this year. So we have a lot of hindsight on it now. Who wants to dive in with Feathers?
That sounds soft. Pachoo, into a pile of feathers.
Yeah, that's one of the.
It does, doesn't it? Like the opposite of a Scrooge McDuck.
I'm happy to start.
Yeah, go for it.
I really dug the token system. One of my things that I struggle with as a role player, I feel, is characterization. So having that guide of that suggestion, push and pull, and character obstacles to overcome, really, I found that really helpful.
Not what I expected you to say, I think. Interesting. Anyone else?
Yeah, I think I agree. Like the token system was easy to understand. I think we did struggle with understanding the rules a bit, but also the game had a flexibility that meant that you could really sort of, ignore parts of the rules and focus on the characterization instead, which is what we ended up doing. So I think it did have a lot of flexibility for gameplay as well.
You can kind of take it anywhere.
Yeah, it was very loose.
I think it felt like we kind of struggled to begin with to like work out what we were doing. It was like, here we are, we've got these characters, like we can just kind of free roleplay. It took us a little while to vibe into. Right, this is great. What's actually the aim here? What's the goal other than painting these quite fun scenes with these characters? It took us a while to kind of get cooking. I think once we did, there was something quite unusual and interesting there. It just took us a while to find it.
Yeah, that's valid. Yeah.
I liked the sort of the lyricism in the character creation, the way the different types of character were described. I really enjoyed the way, all of those. The dreamer is
you fell and shattered into 1,000 pieces and all that. Yeah.
That's the badger.
There's a lot of poetry in there.
Yeah, that put me off a little bit because I quite like doing that sort of thing myself, and I was like, oh, this is a lot of words you're giving me, and I just found a little bit overwhelmed by it. It's like reading someone's poetry when you're just not in the mood for poetry necessarily. So maybe
I know what you mean. But I was like, I think in the early stages of the game, I felt a bit like it's, but weirdly at both points, it's like almost it's too open in that I didn't know what the goal was. But I also felt like some of the rules, as I thought I understood them, I think once we got ahead, it was different. They felt almost a bit too prescriptive. It's like forcing these moments of conflict. I think in hindsight, it actually worked quite well. But at the time, I was a bit like, what is that?
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's like once you get past the lyricism of like the description and how to play, actually it's very unguided. But when you first read it, you're like, oh, this is telling me that I'm meant to have a nose piercing and look like this. And no, it isn't. It isn't actually. It's just giving you suggestions.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah. It's once I understood these are suggestions, darling. They're not actually like...
They're not actual rules.
Darling.
Darling.
Is it called sandbox games when it's like... Is that what I'm thinking of?
Open world style.
Like open world. Where
that open world kind of thing. We hadn't really done anything that open before. So
most games are pretty open, aren't they? Actually, I suppose because we didn't have like a GM planning a plot. So I suppose in that sense, yeah.
I had real just difficulty with this game, and I do like. I think I'll agree with Jacob. I think the token system was amazing. I have a feeling I missed something. Even after playing it, and I feel like I've missed something in the game. But just sort of, it was fun characterizing. People's characters were fun. We brought in extra characters. We went mad at the end. It's perfect. It's all you really need.
I think at some point we would get a lot out of playing another. I can never
belonging
say
outside belonging.
Belonging outside belonging. BYB game, because there are other games in the setting, not the setting, in the system that I think we'd enjoy at some point. Maybe
belonging outside the doing.
Yeah.
You came across well in it though, Peter. You may have been struggling to vibe with it, but I liked Whirls. I thought it was really fun to listen to when I listened to it.
The only one who's reappeared.
I was going to say props to H for the edit because I think a lot of us
fucking banana sticker on that.
Yeah, a lot of us struggle to play and bring life to the characters in the system, but your edit really, really cut a lot of that away and are more fumbling, self-serious po-face, because I think we took this on as kind of an important game with capital letters.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, some of those monologues, listeners, if you think they were long to start with, oh boy, do I have news for you.
But also, I think that's the thing that made Whirls work so well in a way, because all of us most of us took it as this is a serious game, it's about feelings and emotion and fallen angels.
That's what it told us to do, to be fair. But
and by sort of the end of it, we'd relaxed. But when we first started, and then we had Whirls, who was just more relaxed and fun from the beginning. And then the rest of us kind of gelled into that later on, but we had to gel into it.
You led by example there, Peter, and it worked. I think.
A personal philosophy is it's a game. I'm here to have fun. Okay, minor tangent. I had a guy in a Discord call, and we were talking about the game Apex Legends, which is a first-person shooter. And he was talking, and we were talking about some of the guns in the game, and he was suddenly started talking about one of the sniper rifles like it was real, and it so took me out of it. I was like, it's a game. Because he was like, oh yeah, it takes really long to pull the bolt back. And I was like, there's no bolt. It's a reload animation. It takes a time for the reload animation to complete. I want to play a game and I have fun in a game, so I will not take anything seriously, as you can prove by all of the episodes we've done.
Yeah.
Although I will specify, I did have a lot of fun playing Roxana.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You excelled in
Roxana.
Feathers, I've got to say.
Yeah,
Roxana
no,
was fab.
you had a ball. It was great fun just bouncing off you in Feathers. I will say, I feel like I left being unexplored. There were aspects of their character that I'd want to return to that character, but possibly in a different setting.
I think I left Faye quite unexplored. I don't know if I want to return to her. I just don't know if I formed her well enough in my mind to be worth it. But I know there's definitely, like you, I don't think I took her as far as I should have done.
Yeah, again, it was another one. Alexis didn't get a proper ending. I felt a bit frustrated by that. Like, she just stayed the mum friend. And I wanted to explore that and, like, talk about it. And, like, she didn't get that. It was okay, because other people had, like, nice moments. And that can be a problem with us being quite a large cast as well. Like, we can't all shine in every game, and that's okay. That's fine.
Yeah, I think this game is originally for about 4 players, so we were pushing it.
For exactly 4 players.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I do also wonder if, like, that maybe that was part of the reason we struggled with it, is the game, like, at least how I took it. I don't know if this is exactly what they were going for, but, like, it felt to me like a game where the whole point is to teach you about, like, expressing emotions, right? It's to teach people who maybe don't open up their emotions that much what it's like to do it through character, right? And there's just not enough room for 6 people to be able to do that in the time frame we had. And it's quite a difficult thing to do and make it, like, interesting and listenable. You know, like, there's quite a lot of
so
pressure on it.
Because we're playing for an audience, and I feel like this is a game that's not designed to be played for an audience.
Yeah, I don't know if this is really designed. I mean, like,
Yeah.
Speaking for myself, at least, I think I had a better time with it than some folk. Like, I feel like, given I went in quite dubious about it, I wasn't really sure, because I'm, by and large, I'm kind of like Peter. I like to kind of find the humour in things. I play for the fun of it. Yeah. So I kind of went in best foot forward, thinking, like, right, this is about, you know, this is a bit serious. This is about emotions. Let's kind of go in best foot forward. And, like, I felt like I actually really had a great time playing Corday. I feel like I kind of exercised some of my own demons and learned some shit about myself and my own kind of hipster tendencies. I feel like I actually got quite a lot out of it in a weird way. I think of it often.
I enjoyed Corday.
Yeah, we definitely.
Yeah, I feel like for me, I feel
Shadow
like
Matt vibes.
Yeah, I feel I got
Shadow
something out of playing Corday very much. There was quite a lot of me in her, and so maybe that's what the game was designed for. But like you were saying, there's just not enough space for all 6 of us to do that and have the time frame and be entertaining.
Yeah.
In remote, you know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely.
There's a lot of difficulties with it.
So I definitely say, if you're playing not on a podcast and you have a smaller group, you probably would get a lot.
Yeah,
out of
I
it.
think
Oh,
there's a
and
lot.
last thing, in person as opposed to
In
online.
person, I think would be really make a difference.
Yeah.
Also,
because we're all at distance on microphones, even the couple of us who are in the same houses. Like, we don't play in the same room because of
I don't
recording
talk to you.
issues. No, and I never talk to Helen. Like, I barely know who she is anymore.
They've actually never met.
No.
They live in the same house, but they've never actually seen each other in person.
It's ships passing in the night. Anyway, I think that makes a huge difference, yeah.
I really quite like the character sheet. I think it's quite good. That's Peter's character sheet reviews.
Peter's character sheet reviews. Can't miss that.
Peter's character sheet review. Got a review for you.
That's becoming my ringtone. I don't care what you say.
Peter's character sheet review.
The whole introducing NPCs dynamic, we didn't really figure out.
Understand.
And I'd quite like
we gave
to
it a
do
good
game
stab,
that does something similar with that.
Yeah, I'm still
We
not
did one
entirely
good
sure
one.
what that was in aid of. Yeah, like, we had fun with it.
Yeah. Maldwin was bloody fantastic.
Yeah, your Welsh guy was fab, but...
He was great fun. But yeah, I don't know if we did it in the... I honestly don't know if we did that in the right way. Is there a right way? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. But yeah, it was a weird one. I'm glad we did it because it's super different to anything else that we've done.
I'm glad we
Yeah,
experienced
certainly.
it.
And it's still different to anything we've done since, I would say, as well.
It's very-
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
keep your horizons broad.
So, next is Millennial Apartment Hunters, which was GM'd by the Fantabulous.
hello, and I'm sorry.
I loved Dan.
Dan,
Just watching you go listening to you go absolutely fucking feral above me was fantastic.
Yes.
For all those listening, I have a mild improv background. Like many of us, like everybody's done improv at some stage, and either vibed with it or I don't actually know. That's a bold thing to say.
They haven't, Peter. They really haven't.
Peter, I would say you have a spicy improv background.
Yes.
Ooh.
As opposed to mild.
Okay. And
actually, I think
you're welcome. You're welcome.
And so for that one, I was like, okay, well, I don't have really many rules. I just sort of have to make up stuff. I had a lot of fun with it. I also edited it, so
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I freaking loved Millennium Falcon Hunters. I had such a great time.
Yeah, me too. I thought it was hilarious.
That was another roleplay heavy game that allowed us to just go feral.
And you went feral.
Yeah,
I feel like more like even I feel like having read the rules since, because of course having read the rules, like we played it pretty laissez-faire, like but also I think that's absolutely in the spirit of the game, and I think
it really is.
It was effectively just Peter gave us a playground and like shepherded us around while we just went rogue, and it like I don't know if it was the coffee we were drinking that day, but like I just had so much fun. Like it was great fun.
I enjoyed it.
I think it was a very Direcast game.
Yes, it really was.
I don't know how you managed to play the straight man the whole way through, Helen.
Poor Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie.
Poor Jamie.
Yeah, that was
kind of like half a
my
man
original
at
plan for
times.
him was. My original plan for him was that he was going to be like particularly nervous and neurotic, and like, you know, we must have a bathroom each at least, blah blah blah. And then the rest of you were just so absolutely out there and like, yeah, it's okay to live in Baba Yaga, that I ended up just being a regular person.
Not entirely wrong.
Mind living in Baba Yaga's house if it cuts down the commute.
Yeah.
Sometimes, depending which way it goes.
Yeah.
By the way, this guy here just stole ivory.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We never really got into that backstory.
That was another bit of a rogue element at the end.
That was so. I'm not sure how much story there was, honestly. I don't even remember mentioning ivory. I'm half convinced that you guys have inferred that and made it up.
No, I listened to it. At the very end, you're like, if random people turn up asking about ivory, you go through your time, like, through the time dilation house and out to a different time period to avoid the police.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Oh my god, is that actually Dan Masticate?
Yeah,
that's his name.
Yeah, that was his name. I'd forgotten his last name.
Yeah.
With his bizarre car.
Yes.
The
Danmobile.
Earlier in the day, I had read something about how estate agents are some of the weirdest people on the planet.
True.
Which I don't know if this is true, but they were like, okay, what was it? It was somebody saying, like, I worked with a couple of estate agents. One of them believed in some just weird, funky conspiracy theories. Another one only had one Jack Johnson CD and would only play that almost non-stop throughout the day. and I was like, okay, let's inhibit someone who is very weird. My one regret for the game is I didn't go through some improv rules beforehand, because there's some very simple ones, like you don't ask questions, you make statements. That's a really good one, because if you're just sort of making statements, it allows people to react off it. Then there like no blocking and things like that. We didn't actually have like any of that, because
I feel like a lot of us have internalized those rules soft anyway.
Yeah, because they're sort of yes and a draw, and just sort of going, and you did sort of roll with it. But there was one moment. Oh no, the other regret I had was the one thing that was quite unclear was whether I was meant to describe it all or let you sort of physically react to it, because you all added to it. And I didn't know if
it's meant to be a combo.
Oh, okay. So we maybe played it correctly, but I thoroughly enjoyed being Dan Masticates.
I loved it. I loved
Very
your...
good.
Was it you who had the idea of we play it again, but we're like monsters looking for a dungeon?
Yes, and I'm still Dan.
Oh, yes.
And
that would
Dan
be
is the
hilarious.
exact same person with the exact same car.
I think that's the thing as well. I was going to say is that it feels like a game that I could absolutely play again, and it wouldn't have to have the same characters or anything. It's something that I think, if we're keeping this review focused, it's absolutely something I'd recommend for anyone who's like got a casual interest in RPs. It's it's something you could do in an evening over a couple of beers, and doesn't take much prep or effort, but is just pretty much, if you like making up things, like just riffing off each other, this is just an extended riff for about 2.5 hours.
I think it's a good game for... You probably need to have a GM who sort of knows what they're doing, but it is a good sort of beginner game.
Oh, yeah.
The GM needs to know.
It's an extended kind of drama game. Which it sort of feels like...
It's an extended and slightly guided conversation, which is what RPGs are, but it's just really clear about that. So
it's so much fun. I highly recommend it, and it's got a character sheet, so I can't do a review of it. But
that did mean that the rest of us didn't have to do much prep.
Yeah,
it was great. I just turned up like, what are we playing?
I came up with my character in a panic on the spur of the moment.
Pretty much the same.
Tiffany.
We had fun on that one, didn't we, Loki?
We did. We had fun afterwards, H.
That's them cocking the rifle before going fox hunting.
Did you say before going fuck hunting?
Fox hunting.
Fox hunting.
That's very different.
No, they already went the first one.
Yeah.
God.
We do that second one a lot.
I will also just say that one of my favourite things was Matt, the stroke of genius, where they're in the time dilation house, and it's like months later you come back and what's changed, and then your character's just like, just unpacking.
I didn't even know
that
you
was
were
hilarious.
here. I've just arrived.
You've been missing for 3 months.
It was just so good. It was
long
such a
time to
good
unpack.
contrast as well, and a subversion of the using the fact it's a time dilation house.
That's the perfect example of what Peter was saying, right? We all did this. It wasn't just that joke. There was a lot of jokes throughout the whole thing where it's one of us will introduce a joke, the next person will build on it, and it spun out of control in the most glorious way.
Yes, it did.
And it was indeed a mutual decision between all of us to play it.
Yeah. So this was our Valentine's episode.
Yep. Yeah.
Who chose that?
What are we going to do next Valentine's Day?
Oh, you did this. You did this.
I suggested that.
Oh, did you? Oh, I thought it was Luki. I'm so sorry. I've been blaming Luki.
I added it to the options in our games library, but Jacob suggested we do it for Valentine's Day.
Romantics, a lot of us.
Yeah, we know what we're about. This game was wild.
I felt this is actually the most complex game we've ever done. Compared.
It was like a really weird workbook, wasn't it?
It kind of was, yeah.
There's a lot of, for me, I felt it was quite needlessly complex. I think it's weird we're talking about this one after Millennial Apartment Hunters. And I'll caveat, I suspect this game would probably work a lot better in person. I think
100. Parts of this game, for example, when we, at the beginning, were doing our, character relationships and chart, that sort of thing, it's never going to be easy to record well, I don't think.
That's true. And so I think,
a lot of our entertainment about it came from watching H draw it on the screen, and obviously our listeners can't do that.
You're welcome.
So I totally agree with you. I think so that I'll give it some fair game. I think that's difficult, but for me, I think a lot of it I felt to me a little unnecessarily complex. But I think it's interesting we're looking at this one right after Millennial Apartment Hunters, because I think that really highlights what I really liked about that and what I really didn't like about this.
Yeah.
That one proved that you can just kind of, if you get given a prompt, you can riff off it and you can have fun, because a lot of the fun comes from not knowing where the conversation's going to go. Whereas I felt the biggest mistake in the mutual decision rules was that you know the outcome before you play the scene.
Yeah.
And like I see where they're coming from. It's like a drama game. I get that, but for me, that sucked all of the anticipation out of it. It was like I'd much rather have it been like, right, you're going to have a debate about X, Y, Z. You can roll dice to augment whether you're doing well or badly. But like, I feel like the fact that you had to decide on everything first and then roleplay the scene seemed backwards to me. I'd much rather.
Yeah, or even it seemed like a slog to a finishing line that had already been established instead of trying to find a nice treasure thing at the end.
If we'd role-played the scene up to the point where the conflict reaches a head, and then roll to see.
And maybe that's what we should have done, because it's like, you roll the dice very, very, and that was again part. I think because the dice rolling to me seemed quite complex and strategic.
It was like, if you're doing this, then you take 3, and then if that happens, then you -1, and then if you're doing this, then you add an extra 1. But if you roll 1 on this one, then you become a. It's like, what?
This feels like it should have been a board game.
Yeah. It had that circuitry, like you felt like you were going from stage to stage, island to island.
And also, like, again, it's one that I think would really have benefited from being face to face instead of being,
totally agree.
You know, all of us in each other's ears and online, because it really is the sort of thing of like you can get into an argument more and move around more and make it more dramatic than we're able to do when we're just you know, podcasting.
Definitely.
But something I did like, though, I did like the world building that we did at the beginning. That was wonderful.
Yes. That's
I like coming up with characters that interact with us both, and I liked our characters. I like the idea of the game. I like the story it tells. I don't like all of the nitty gritty and getting there.
I think there's also a lot of possibility with the game that we never really got into. So things like the were-rats and the fact that you could murder people. And we never really
there's
went
a lot
there.
of missed opportunity for murder.
Why weren't we murdering people more?
It would have been more
We'll play it again, we'll play it as assassins, and then we'll just keep murdering.
I mean, and obviously the big thing that I mentioned in the gameplay is that it's like super binary and like cis-straight.
Oh god,
like literally, like even if it's slightly older, and I'll give people a pass for making it like very like binary or whatever, but you don't even assume you can have a male couple or whatever. It was really like, the girls play the girl and the boys play the boy, and you split into 2.
Actually,
and I was like,
it's so progressive because they reverse it.
I was like, what century did you write this in? So, no offense to the writer, but learn from your mistakes.
And like,
I understand the idea is like put you into the mind of someone else, and it's trying to be like, ooh, we're having an experience.
Yes, because women are from Mars and men are from Venus, or whatever the thing is. So I got that wrong, didn't I? Yeah, this tells you everything you need to know about my lack of gender. Anyway, but
men are frozen and have no atmosphere, and women are filled with acid.
Oh, okay.
Filled with crushing acid and sometimes sprout giant mushrooms. If you watch The
This
Expanse.
is why I signed out of all of this, guys. Like, are you okay?
I mean, the thing.
No.
I mean, we lent into the stereotypes.
Yes, we did.
But
we had fun with
also-
like mocking that.
We didn't mean to, because we came up with our characters independently.
I know.
We came up with a fucking cis couple.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
And then once we had them, we did make them pretty stereotypical.
We did.
Yeah.
We did.
Shit, I want to call her Paella. No, that wasn't her name.
A parlay.
Pilia.
Her name's
Pilia.
Paella now. I like that.
I announce the
Pepperoni,
paella.
periodontis, papilla.
I felt Pilia wasn't that Ash, absolutely stereotypical jock, but
also, you say that.
Yeah, but he was a jock who was obsessed with poo.
And some of the stereotypes end up coming coincidentally, like the fact that Pilia was very needy, and then there's that stereotype of the needy girlfriend.
Yeah,
And the more distant
Yeah.
boyfriend, and that was just because that's literally just how the dice rolled.
Yeah, and
That we
also
end
it
up
was
with
our best
six
stat.
needy.
So we're always going to roll needy because we had literally max needy, and we had and the other one was like nothing. So unless we wanted to lose, unless we wanted to lose a roll, which I think there was one we actually did want to lose, and we were like, we'll roll the other one to just sort of see what happens. Yeah, I was genuinely thrown when murder came up. I was genuinely like, what? I got really uncomfortable. Like the moment,
Really?
Genuinely the moment when it was like, oh, okay, so this relationship's going to break down, and now people are going to start killing one another. I was like, I'm not okay for this. This is not what I signed up for.
That's funny. Weirdly, I
You
had
don't have to kill each other, it's just an option.
Weirdly, I think I had the opposite reaction when killing came up. I'd been really slogging through this one, and then when killing came up, I was like, oh, I get it. We've been spending too long in the preamble, was what I thought. I was like, right, now the game's going to kick off,
Now
and it's
we
going to
murder.
become this hilarious dark comedy, and it didn't happen.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting the
Mate,
tonal
this might
shift.
have been a function of our resting level of fluff, perhaps, as a
Maybe.
as a group.
I did think it was interesting that it's the only thing we've played where we play it as sort of two teams playing one character, and I've never done
like
that
PvP.
before. And that was a bit of a change and something very different, and it was an interesting experience.
Yeah, I liked sharing a character.
Yeah, that was fun.
I like that as a mechanic. That's fun.
Yeah, I agree. That was quite fun.
Yes,
It had
but we
vibes
still got
of-
to role play as the
Yeah.
character occasionally, which was also good. So we got a little bit of that improv. Yeah.
And if you do want to do this online, it is very easy to do. We just, if you're using Discord, just create another chat. That's
tops and bottoms.
Yes,
Yeah,
now
we
have
had the
bottoms
bottoms chat where we said the bottoms.
Bottom.
The downstairs gang.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Downstairs guy.
Right, your words.
Peter, what's your thoughts on the character sheet for this one?
Oh, it was quite confusing. I would.
Yep.
It was quite confusing. However, sort of once you sort of got like, okay, this is the pluses and minuses. That's fine. But it was sort of in stages. It's quite nice. I actually quite like how the rulebook's set out. That it's just like, and this is this stage, and this stage, and this stage.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah, it's like
I
a
feel
work
like I need to
work
take
your way through it.
Considering
I don't
the amount of rules that are in it and how complicated it is, they set out the book in a way that you really could just work through it like a little workbook.
Yeah.
it was. I think
That's true.
I would, much like I would hate to be the person that has to put an album in order. I would hate to be a person who has to order a rule book.
This is
I can
actually
understand
two things. One, I feel like I need to take a picture of just the mess that my notebook had become by the end of the game, because I don't have the neatest handwriting or like the most logical way of setting things out at the best of times.
Nope.
My book was just a mess of scribbles by the end of it.
Interesting. I didn't feel the need to take notes on it because it was very much like,
No.
well, we know where we're going. So aside from the doodle I did, which is up on the Instagram if anyone wants to have a look, it'll be
I
obviously different
was
to all the
fairly
other posts.
meticulously keeping track of our stats because I knew that no one else would.
Yeah, that's valid, actually.
You're
Yeah, I
correct.
wasn't, thanks,
I
Jacob.
was.
I would have done, except Jacob said he was doing it. So
The other thing I'd point out is that I feel like we kind of... I know we said we kind of there was a lot of missed potential, but I feel like as far as the structure of the game is concerned, we kind of explored this game to its full potential.
Yeah.
We just happened not to roll a super dramatic ending, which was
Yeah,
sort
if-
of a shame unless you're Peter. And then, yeah.
Yeah. Although I think, as sort of
Yeah.
Luki said when we were playing it, a lot of relationships they do end anticlimactic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is the reality of
it was
relationships.
quite nice and gently subversive in its own way.
Very
you know, you could play it again and have an ending where one of you becomes a were-rat and goes crazy and murders everyone, but
Fair, yeah. I mean, maybe it's taste. I feel like
that's a different story.
if Pillier had become a were-rat and murdered Slugman Sam at the midpoint, I think it would have been much more up my street. I feel like I found
Same.
at the end of the day, and I'm not sure if I can blame the game for it. It might just be the dud playthrough. But for me, I found it quite dull at the end of the day. I thought like the one bit I love about role-playing is the ability to kind of to riff like we did in Millennial Apartment, and this I felt had too many, like, which is a personal taste thing, but it had too many kind of locks on it for me. Yet there was an awful lot of mathematical number crunching, which I'm not personally into, and like strategy, which is not my jam.
Unfortunately,
I'd rather
I
it's
agree.
like you're having
We're
like
here
if
to
it,
play maths.
and this is a personal taste thing, right? For me,
Yeah,
it'd be like,
yeah.
right, you're in an argument. One of you wants to go to Brazil, one of you wants to go to China. Argue, like, and then about halfway through, roll some dice. Whoever rolls highest wins, and keep and keep going, or something like that.
Or like-
Yeah, that would have been
the
better, you're right.
group of
Yeah.
votes
And again, I
keeps
think
the
it
kind
would
of-
have been mitigated if it's a face-to-face game. I feel like
I
it
totally
really,
agree.
It,
Yeah.
it
Yeah, I
would
think that would have
work
made a
so
huge
much
difference.
better if it's face-to-face and you're both drawing on your mind map and you're both rolling your dice next to each other. And it's, I think in some ways the fact that we were in two separate groups online and then we go to our own chat and, whereas in person you'd probably all be around there being like, no, let's do this and let's do this, and then being able to hear each other. I think it really requires that atmosphere
Yeah.
of like fun
for sure,
conflicts
for sure.
that is more difficult to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
There we go. Any final thoughts
Valid.
on?
No, I'm probably sadly on the same thing as Matt. It might really float someone else's boat because it's more technical and has like a lot of structure, but I also don't want the structure.
I think if I were going to play it again, I would fuck around with the rules a bit. I would bring in, like,
I'd simplify it a bit.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I would also be like, instead of you decide the outcome of the argument beforehand, you have the argument and get like a token for doing something, and then you get to roll an extra, something like that, you know?
Yeah. And
like,
also,
the way
I think
you argue impacts the way that it comes out.
Oh, last thing, riffing on that, if I was to play it again, I think we massively lowballed how weird it could be.
Yeah.
Like, again, comparing to Millennial, it's like if we were playing again, like, am I going to play like a zoologist? Nah, mate, I'm going to play like a Romanian count or something. Like, I would have gone way more insane.
Yeah,
because there's just so much more kind of.
Yeah, why did we not do that?
I think because we thought we thought it would start off quite pedestrian and it would get surreal, and maybe the dice rolls, the surreal never arrived.
What do you say that? The were-rats threw me completely. Like when that was a thing, I just. I hadn't been expecting it, and that entirely threw me. But then also, I think in some ways that was a detriment, because it meant that I wasn't, expecting were-rats, so we never really leaned into were-rats. I mean, it
is such a weird thing to be in this game, were-rats.
I think it was worth playing for being something very different.
Totally, yeah.
But yeah, I think it was a bit more rules-heavy than was Direcast friendly.
Yeah.
Or Helen friendly.
Oh.
I think maybe that combined with the fact it didn't lend itself to like online. I think either one in isolation we could handle, but the two together was a bit difficult.
Yeah.
How happy a state does the miller possess, who would be no greater nor fears to be less. On his mill and himself he depends for support, which is better than servilely cringing at court. What though he all dusty and whitened does go, the more he's befouled, the more like a beau. A clown in this dress may be honester far than a courtier who struts in a garter and star. Than a courtier who struts in a garter and star. So, next up is Dear Elizabeth.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
Dear Elizabeth.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So Matt and Jacob, you guys can just
go get a cup of tea.
Oh, no, I'll weigh in as a listener at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, please do.
Are we on to Dear Elizabeth?
Yes.
Oh, hey. Sorry, I just went to the loop. I wasn't. Yeah, I'm listening. It's fine.
Sure. I love Dear Elizabeth. It's such a cute little game. Like, it's so short and simple, and it's just really sweet.
I mean, it took us an hour?
Yeah, it took us like an hour to write them, and then not too long to read all the things out. When I was editing it, so like I'd done me and Helen's one, and then I started listening to H and Peter's one.
I'm so sorry. I
am not sorry at all.
Laughing because it just got more and more ridiculous.
So, listeners, behind the scenes, we made an agreement that we weren't going to discuss how we were playing the game, how we were laying it out, how we were approaching it, so that we really had the organic, very different, ways of playing it. And then we got some very different ways of playing it.
Helen and I were like, oh, we're sweet little Regency ladies just having little fun adventures.
We really channeled our inner Jane Austens.
Yeah. And Peter channeled his inner...
Peter.
Well, Peter, let's be honest.
His inner Peter.
There is a show called Bleak Expectations.
Yes.
Which is a Mickey take of Victorian, and I think I channeled a lot of that.
Lucid Cart Horse.
Yeah,
Lucid Cart, right?
No, Lucid Cart Horse.
It was Cart Horse.
I say it wrong once.
And his dad, her dad invented the cart horse.
Yes.
Not bred the cart horse, invented
the cart horse.
So thereby their family name was Lucid Cart Horse. Their family name was Cart Horse. I don't know why you're questioning this. This seems like absolutely plausible fact.
Didn't he also invent the wrench but not the nut?
Yes.
Something like that. It was the he approached me struggling to eat a vol au vent that just had me
He was waiting in the parlour, the second most scandalous entryway.
Oh,
is what got me. Was it the parlour?
I loved that. Else? It was the atrium. The second most scandalous entryway.
It's just such a difference because I had a lot of fun with like Luki and the way we did it, and I feel like it really is sort of a very sweet organic game. And for people, I've read a lot of Jane Austen, So I really liked it from that, like, oh, how do I finger la, and let's insert Regency, turns of phrase into this.
You'd also read it very recently, hadn't you? You'd been on a Jane Austen
I'd
binge,
recently
not like
been on a
6
Jane
months
Austen
previous.
binge.
Yes, because you can tell when I listened back to yours, because I obviously hadn't heard it until the episode came out, I was like, oh, yes, okay, you know what you're doing. Me and Pete were just like, is a Mercedes, has that been invented yet? Tractors, yes! And like, I say this as an English lit student, I've read Jane Austen, but it's been many years. Like, I haven't got the frame of, like, the tone in my head clearly as well as Helen did.
It's just so great as a contrast, because you kind of listen to me and Luki, and it's how you probably think the game should be played.
Yeah. Was imagined to be played, drawn up.
And then we have you two, and it's like, this is how the game could be played, and it's just like, there's so many possibilities.
I listened to your playthrough, and honestly, it was... Because I listened to the full...
charming.
Yeah, it was charming, it was nice, it was sweet. And then it's sort of like, welcome to the jungle.
We've got moss and rocks.
Yeah, we've got...
What more do you want?
Lettuces!
Yes, there was...
He can hold his breath for 2 minutes.
I can highly recommend Dear Elizabeth. Just...
Yes.
Yeah, I would recommend it too.
Yeah.
Oh, so much. It's so fun. Like, if you just got like a rainy afternoon with you and your housemate, it's...
You could probably play
like...
it asynchronously, actually, even with an online friend. Like, just
Yeah.
send
You
some
could
letters back and forth. It's
Yeah,
kind of like
exactly.
online
You could
roleplay.
Straight
but...
up
You
send
could
letters
send
to each
actual
other.
letters.
That's-
You could send
Yes,
real life
oh
letters
my
if you
God,
wanted to.
yes.
Pay the
But you
postie.
agree that you're both going to send them this week, so if you're sending to a friend in, like, the Netherlands or something, they don't overlap, so you don't know what's in them.
Yeah.
That would be really fun. I like that.
It would,
I
actually.
also like the fact that you did have the cards, and you had sort of a set
Yes.
topic, and then you had to try and work it in. And sometimes it didn't necessarily go in the order you'd want for your story, so you just had to try and work out how you were gonna... So, Luki, you had
'cause, like,
proposal,
my
but it was your first
one was proposal. Yeah, so it's like, well, it can't be someone. Well, it could be someone proposing to her, but it's more interesting if it's someone else.
And I mean, I had death, and I was like, I don't want anyone to die.
Yeah. Oh no,
Yeah,
I just
it's
realised my window's open and a bunch of geese flew over.
Ooh,
I
I thought
couldn't
I
hear
heard
that.
a honk.
Yeah, there's going to be geese on this recording, my bad.
I mean,
sorry.
I can simulate a honk if you need me to.
I'm good, Peter.
Honk.
That, I mean...
And here we have the difference between...
Oh god.
What I also love about Dear Elizabeth, it's part of the 200 word RPG challenge competition thing. So it's under 200 words the whole game, which is just really clever. If you ever want to find just like really quick, fun little games, just Google 200 word RPG competition and look at some of the winners from over the years, because they have such good little games there that are so much fun to play. Like Fuck It's Dracula is one, which we should do someday.
It was and it was just nicely set out, lovely to read, and fun, and just fun to play. I highly recommend.
Honestly, my attention span, 200 words. That's it. That's enough.
And it was easy to understand as well. I mean, you had 200 words to explain the game, but it was so simple and easy and fun. It was just fun. I would play it again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the other thing. There's great fun. It's easily expandable as well, because all you have to do is change the keywords. Like, you've got those initial keywords that you use to generate the letters. It's basically just a writing exercise, right? But a very fun one. All you'd need to do to expand it would be like, and now we're going to include some more words. And simple as that. And you could keep it going on for more than 1 year, inverted commas. If you wanted to keep it going and going, you could expand it and introduce an ongoing narrative. Like, the sky is the limit with it. I thought it was a brilliant little idea for a game.
Yep.
If you wanted to do a writing exercise with it, it would be a really good way to do one.
Really good. It just flexes the muscles. It's great fun.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I also just want to say thank you so much to my dear friend Alice Braithwaite, who did the bassoon.
I was going to call her out.
For the
I was going
music.
to say, like, Luki's friend, Alice. Mwah. Excellent
if you
bassooning.
ever need a bassoonist, and honestly, when don't you need a bassoonist?
I know. I need
right.
one
And that
every
was-
day, and I never know where to look.
That was a actual
now you know.
Regency, traditional Regency song as well, wasn't it? She was playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a real life Regency song that she found, because if you ever need someone to find obscure music, Alice is your gal. She's so good at it. She found me like a bunch of different things, and I was like, "Ooh, this one is cheerful." At Alice Bassoon on Twitter, seek her out for all of your bassooning needs.
Thanks.
Bassoon.
So, bassoon.
Bassoon.
Hello, dire listeners. We are just interrupting our own programme once again to remind you that from this week we will be on hiatus for 4 weeks.
Hiatus.
So we will not...
I do not consent to this tomfoolery.
Please do this.
No, this is staying. So for the next 4 weeks we've taken some recording time off to sort of recoup and plan ahead, so that means that the knock-on effect is for the next 4 weeks we won't be releasing any episodes. But we will be, I know, very sad. I know you're going to miss us very much, and you will cry, but you could
That's just
download and
Helen.
listen to our old episodes again.
Yay!
So we will be back on the 16th of July with Season 2 of Direcast with some new exciting games. And until then, keep sharing us and liking us, reviewing us.
And keep an eye on this thread as well, because there might be some surprise things dropping in.
Yeah, we might be dropping maybe some bloopers.
Don't
And
tell them, Luki. Surprise!
maybe some beep redacted.
Thank you.
And some other things.
Lovely. And don't forget to check out our website where you can see the games we've played and also submit suggestions of things you want us to play. And it can be stuff you've written. It doesn't have to be very advanced. Just send me a Google Doc and I am more than happy to try and translate that into a game we can play. Like, go for
Yeah.
it. We love it. So much fun.
we love homebrewing.
Hell yeah.
And remember, you can follow us on Twitter and Facebook at
Facebook.
on Twitter and Facebook. Yep, on Twitter and Facebook at Direcast, and on Instagram at DirecastPod. And you can follow me by stalking me at my house, but please don't.
Don't do that.
Yeah, that seems like it'd be
Don't.
setting a bad precedent.
Or you can match with me on Tinder, which also don't do that. I'm not on there anymore. It's just kind of sad. What am I talking about?
don't know.
I think that's a good...
As you can tell, we
a good
need
place
this
for us to
break
stop.
now.
We need this break very badly. Please let us go.
And in that spirit, we go back to the episode.
Back to the episode. Bye, guys.
Bye.
The Golden Larceny makes way. Your way, you rule the day. The Golden Larceny makes way. Winds in the east and the loops to the west. Captain steering, here's the test. Storm to the east and the main to the west. Steering's not what we do best. Your way, the break of day. The Golden Larceny makes way. Your way, you rule the day. The Golden Larceny makes way. Hitched our hooks to the winds and sails. The Larceny, she never fails. Sailed through the fog and the winds and the gales. Singing songs and spinning tales.
Yeah, so next up we have...
Yarr.
Every time I had to say "yar" in the intro and outro, my voice, because I can't say like when you like Matt say "yar" normally in your normal voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like you're saying the name of the game. When I say it's "yar,"
Yeah.
yar. This week we're playing "yar."
I went on
Like
my
a gap year.
So I either have to sound like that, or I have to go. This week we're playing "yar."
I mean, yar is just better, isn't it? Like...
Yeah, it's just better. So Matt was our benevolent GM
Yar.
for Yar.
And God Emperor.
Yeah, so I feel like, I mean, in my mind, it perfectly achieved what it set out to do, right? This was the idea behind it, is that it's a game for people who've played RPs before, like Dungeons and Dragons or whatever, and it's really, really stripped back and a simple version of it. Like, not too simple. There are, like, character sheets and stats. It's not, like, as stripped back as, say, like, you know, like Lasers and Feelings, when we get to that in a minute. But it's, like, to introduce younger pirates to the idea of, like, role-playing games and what they are, how to play them, keep it nice and kid-friendly and simple. And in my mind, it did, I mean, speaking...
Yeah.
Not as a kid, but someone who I
Not that
feel
we kept
like,
it
you know, I
kid-friendly.
can put myself in the mindset of a child. I thought it was awesome. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
if I'd have had access to that as a 12-year-old, I would have eaten it alive. I think it would
Yeah,
be
I
grand.
could totally
Yeah, definitely.
see me
And of
playing
course,
with my
because it's
nephews.
for, you know, possibly a younger audience, it's really easy as like a good starter game. As the closest
it's-
thing
yeah,
you
it
have
also
left to a
doubles as a good
beginner
intro.
after doing this for over 3 months. It's a good beginner's game.
Yeah, totally.
Absolutely.
Like, especially if you're looking to build up to something that's kind of in the same vein, but maybe a bit deeper, something like Dungeons and Dragons, it's a very good stepping stone. It's more complex than, like, games you play in an afternoon, you could, in theory, keep this game going on with the DM for ages and ages.
Yeah, you can have a full campaign if you want to.
But then
Yeah,
it will
definitely.
kind of teach you the mechanics of strategy and the very, very basics of managing your inventory and stuff that you could then take on to like a larger game.
And I just say, Matt once again struck gold with the master of the puzzles.
Yes.
The
Oh,
riddles
yes.
were so
Those
good.
riddles were amazing.
I
I
love
mean,
a
you
good
know my
riddle.
DM style is I like to basically be like, yeah, mechanics, fuck mechanics, here's a riddle.
It's a riddle, which I really loved. It was such a good adventure that you took us on.
I mean, you guys did great
so-
with the characters. Again, once again, you guys all drew
yes.
freaking gold with your wacky cast of characters.
I love Captain Clams.
Clams.
Boy.
Clams was
Timothy Clams.
Timothy Clams is such a choice name. Peter's wandered off, so he can't hear us being nice about him, which is probably for the best.
Yeah, he'd probably kind of cringe into some
Pity,
strange
'cause
pun.
I'm glad you flagged that because I was about to ask him about the character sheet, but it will have to wait.
I only have like one negative thing to say about this game. The character types are a little bit unbalanced.
Yes.
So like if you're an Atlantean, you have a bunch of spells.
Yep.
And if you're a captain, you have all these moves you can do. If you're a sailor, your stats are literally, if you're not in combat, you don't have to roll for running through the rat lines. And
Yeah.
you have like a bonus to finding a hidden door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There were
Although
certain
if
bits
you're an
of it that
Atlantean,
weren't-
it is very much sort of the equivalent of a D&D wizard. I was very squishy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It would not have taken much to kill me.
totally.
Okay.
That is true.
Yeah, and we didn't really get into that, luckily, because you did get missed instead of hit.
Yeah, and the one time I did get hit, it did nearly kill me.
But we were protecting you, probably.
No, you weren't.
No, we
I
made
was
you run
flirting with
everything.
a Frenchman. I was flirting with a Frenchman. Oh, Peter's back. We were saying nice things about
Oh,
you.
thank you.
Timothy Clam's choice name.
Yes, I enjoyed that character. I had the most fun with Yar. That was amazing.
Yeah,
All-
I had so
full
much
props to Matt. Just full
Yeah.
props
Yeah.
on making it.
I feel like we had the stars kind of aligned for the stars aligned because we had
Stars.
like Matt, you're a big like golden age of piracy navy. That
Yeah, I
time
like
period
pirates.
is very much
Yeah.
your jam.
Love a good
And
pirate.
we had some good characterization, and most of us got our start with D&D, so we're quite familiar with it. And
Yar.
yeah, it was very much we would just that. I think I said in the previous review episode that Honey Heist felt like our center of gravity conceptually as a group. Very much
Yes.
the same was going on here.
Yeah.
Felt.
Yes.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
just
the
easy to
tone
play, wasn't it,
was
actually?
Totally.
Yeah.
It felt like, when you're like little, like a little child, and you play make believe. It felt like that,
Yeah.
and that is kind of what the root of RPGs is, and it just kind of took me back to that because it was just this world of like magic and craziness and wacky shit. And I was just like, I'm a pirate, and I'm going to run in the rigging and fall in love with a French rogue. And
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was actually really tired those weeks we were playing it, so listening back I was like, I don't really remember what I said, but it was so easy to play and get into that it was fine anyway. Like,
Yeah,
I was just
I love
busy with work
Persephone.
or whatever, so I was just a bit kind of knackered by the time we sat down to record. But yeah, it was good. It was a fun one. I would recommend anyone try it.
Shout out to Matt and his very many accents with all his
Hell
NPCs.
yeah.
oh my god, yes!
You ran the gauntlet
so
on
many
those, didn't you?
accents.
I was having fun.
Oh
I was
my
having a lot of fun.
and the return of Gordon.
I couldn't resist. Like,
Where will he come up next?
We don't want to do it too often, but I couldn't resist.
No,
like,
he's a treat.
Sticking in
We can have a
Gordon.
little Gordon as a treat.
Yeah, I just mainly wanted to do the voice again.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
I'm
entirely
just trying to think of like other things like
This
to
might
focus
be-
on it like mechanically. Sorry, go on.
I can talk mechanics.
Yeah, just like,
Always
like
a
it was great
mechanic.
fun. I think we all had fun, but let's try and
Yeah,
do like
the two things I'll say about the mechanics. One, I think this is quite a personal thing, because I run multiple D&D games professionally a week. I was quite bored of the mechanical game side of it by the end. I just didn't really get that much out of it. because I'm on the record as someone who likes mechanical complexity.
Yeah.
And being able to
and if that's
dig
what
into
you
that
like,
stuff.
there's just not really much to do. Like if you're playing an Atlantean, then
Or
there's
a
a bit
captain,
of strategy
then there's a
behind
bit-
it.
Yeah, see,
Or
I
a
was about to be like, I
captain,
didn't
yeah.
really feel that, but then obviously I had the additional side with spells, which
Yeah,
did
no.
give me a
Yeah.
little bit more
Yeah.
leeway, and also I could just dive into the ocean at any point, which I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just
But you don't,
just-
you don't really have stats.
I just had a steadily escalating selection of beards.
Which I enjoyed.
I
love
did good
that.
at it.
I'm gonna knit you a fake beard.
Fantastic.
I'm gonna have to learn to knit first.
I can knit you a fake beard at some point.
2-stage
Can
process.
you put a pouch in it? Put a pouch in it.
Okay.
The other thing I'll say, it was interesting to see that the version of D&D that they were kind of stripping back was quite an old traditional version, because it had like certainly for my character, I had a 1 in 2 or 1 in 3 chance of making various skill rolls, which is like that's like ancient. That goes right back to 1970 Red Box First Edition D&D. And also the scale of the modifiers. We were never getting more than like +2s or +3s. That was very old school D. Which is something that I associate with the what's called the old school revival, which is a movement that goes back to those eras. But they're always quite serious, quite grim and gritty games. So it just kind of sent me for a spin in the best way possible to have this really whimsical adventure dressed up in trappings that I associate with like roll to retain your sanity. Roll to retain your sanity as you beat the zombified form of your dead wife to death with half a hatchet that you've dug out of the sucking
Saturday
mire,
nights.
which is the tone of most OSR games.
I think one thing that we didn't explore that is worth saying with VR is that there was the option to have skills. And we didn't go into that.
There was an
because
augmented rule set.
There was an augmented rule set. So we went with
I
the
could have been good at things.
We went with the simpler
Helen's
rule
right, we
set
chatted
to
about this.
support doing it
Oh,
as
yeah,
a
I forgot.
one-shot.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
basically decided not to do the extra rules on the grounds that it was the purer playthrough. Like, this is
I
Yar
feel
as
like-
Yar is intended, rather than Yar plus.
I feel like I think now I would say do it with the extra rules, because without stats, it's very difficult to be like, this character is good at something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true, because
Like-
then you try it and you fail horribly, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
But then the next time you might succeed spectacularly.
Yeah.
Like, there's no
Yeah.
consistency.
Yeah, because it would have made sense for Mabel to be like good at dexterity, and for like
Yeah, I do agree.
for Persephone to have like strength, some kind of strength score.
You notice them by their absence. The other thing I'll add as well, before we move on, is, like, I don't know how many of you guys noticed, but there's definitely bits that weren't in the Jarl rules that I added just for simplicity. Things like, if you roll a 20, you can double your damage, or if you...
yes.
Or rolling for initiative. It's things that, like, are fairly standard
Yeah.
in most Dungeons & Dragons or Dungeons & Dragons-like games, that are there
Yes.
because they're extremely simple and they make the game easier. Like,
Yeah.
yet they weren't in the rulebook, and so I didn't even realize I was doing it. I kind of slipped
Yeah.
into Dungeons & Dragons mode.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, roll for initiative. It's the start of the fight. So I'd maybe
That
say...
does make sense, because I think...
And I'm
In a
sure
group-
that's in the
in a group
spirit of
this
the
size-
game. But
In a
still.
group this size, in combat, initiatives are like,
You need
combat
it,
is so
yeah.
hard without initiative
Yeah.
for a group this size. So yeah,
Yeah.
makes perfect sense.
And so I'd say that, like, absolutely, I'm sure that's in the spirit of the game. The whole point of the game is to
Yeah.
make it easier, not more difficult. But
Yeah,
there were
and for it to
some,
be like an
lit-
intro to D&D
Yeah.
sort of thing. So if we're then sliding into D&D, because we all do know it, we can't pretend we don't.
Totally.
Even Helen had played it
Yeah.
before, I think. So
We-
exposing your dark past, Helen,
Yes,
you're not a complete
it is
newbie.
it is the one thing I had played before. I had done 3 games of Dungeons and Dragons in my life.
Yeah, like one shots, I think, hadn't you?
Yep.
So you'd had a little
Yeah.
background. Little
It's
bit.
entirely your fault. Peter, what is your character sheet review?
Oh, this one did have a character sheet. Unfortunately, I didn't use it because that would require having a printer, and my computer doesn't talk to the printer. So however, it nicely laid out. It's got some it's got some nice finicky bits up the top, which I quite like. And they're nicely. They're nicely sort of laid out. They're also laid out with presets, which is quite nice. So you do get some pre-gen characters if you're just kind of like, oh, I need to play this really quickly, and everything's fallen down the back of the sofa.
Quick, it's an RPG emergency.
Yes. And also, I will happily be your captain again. I am happy that I didn't play a bruiser, because I always play a bruiser.
Yeah, you were such a good captain.
I do appreciate the 2 times you've been our captain. You were pink.
Yeah, oh no.
Yeah.
And now you're Dimothy Clams.
Pink
So I
and
think
Dimothy
you've done well in having captains who aren't bruisers.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're 2 for 2.
Basically, if I'm not going around hitting things, I'm probably in charge. That's not a good remit.
You need that on a t-shirt. Yeah, if we brought it back again, I feel like I would be like, I'm changing Mabel's class to captain.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, she feels like she was meant to be a captain.
And she and Didier have got their own ship now.
The biggest shock was that Didier was never actually a captain. He was a sailor.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, well, I made the same
his
mistake
class
as you,
was
Luki,
sailor.
is I assumed that, like, that would make sense, and it didn't. Like, you know what I mean? Is the simple answer.
Was he sailor? I thought he was a rogue.
No, he was a sailor. He was exactly the same as you, so I was like, oh yeah, he's a bit... I thought sailor would be, like, spry and kind of, like...
No.
And like DPS, and no, it just means they
Gains
don't.
you
They
nothing.
don't have. All they can do is run through rat lines. Anyway,
Which I did a lot.
yeah,
You know, all the time I was like, are there rat lines I can run
That is
through?
every
in this
opportunity.
amount
You were
of-
like, mast. Where's the mast?
I'm gonna go in the rigging.
the amount of times throughout the playthrough where it's just like, and then you encounter a series of steps, and you're like, right, so my character can run through the rat lines without obstacle. Can I run up the steps really fast and get like an extra go? I'm like, yes, fine, whatever.
Well, no, the only time
Literally
I did
my
that was when
only skill.
we had to like drunkenly walk across the bridge thing.
Yeah, and you
And I was
chase
like,
across.
well, if she can run along a mast, this is thinner than a mast.
Never got
so,
tired of telling me about your rat line ability.
Yeah, well,
It's all she had, Matt. It's all she
it was
had.
literally the
Clinging
only
to
stuff.
this.
It was when I had like my other thing where I was like, oh, if there's a hidden door, I can see it. That was so exciting because it was the only other thing I could do.
Banging my head against the wall like that, like, I want to give this to you, but that's literally the point of this challenge. Like, I can't just let you waltz up to the door. Anyway, but yeah, it was great fun.
I will also
sorry, what-
say thank you
Go
for
on.
giving me Tom.
Oh, mate,
Yeah,
that was,
oh my
I
goodness,
loved
yes.
the romance.
I loved that you claimed him.
Yeah, I know.
You were
It's like,
Tom.
he is going to be
The
boys.
character who was introduced as a random NPC to bring you, like, fucking wine and wasn't on my list of characters ended up being the best character. It's always the way, isn't
Yeah,
it?
he was a protagonist.
He
Yeah.
was.
I knew you were gonna have him fucking stow
You
away
knew.
with
It's
us.
like,
I
this
just
story's
knew.
not over.
Yeah.
One
I
of,
knew
like,
he was
last
coming
thing,
back.
then we should move on. The other thing I'll say that I really liked about Yarn, I've used it since in other, like, RPs that I've played with other people, was
You
like,
play with
it
other
certainly doesn't
people?
work if you're a competitive
Cheating on
player.
us.
What was what?
Sorry, I've just shocked you
Cheating
play
on
with
us
other
with
people.
other RPers.
Yeah.
Oh, I do occasionally
So
play with
rude,
other
Matt.
people. Yeah, it does happen. Anyway,
Absolutely
You
unacceptable.
what I really like about it is it totally doesn't work if you want to play competitively or like.
No.
But if you're mainly playing an RP because you want to replicate a cinematic experience, you want to tell an interactive story, the way Yar handles mobs, I really enjoyed. So like, rather than have like you're fighting 6 goblins that have like, you know, quite a lot of health and various abilities that you'll have to outsmart, it's like, nah, it's 25 goblins, but each of them has like 5 health.
Yeah.
I quite like
like
that because it means that you can
Yes.
just be knocking out mobs left, right, and centre, and you feel awesome.
Yes.
Like, it
Absolutely,
feels more
yeah.
like
I really
an actual
hate
movie.
protracted battles in like
Yeah.
games when they go on too long without any point. When you're just hitting stuff repeatedly,
Yeah.
it's personal taste. Again, like some people
I
prefer
agree,
battles in
yeah.
RPGs, but
I like a battle where it's like interesting and there's different things happening, but when it's just like, and now there's another skeleton.
yeah. Oh
you
my
have to
god.
outwit.
Yeah,
It's like,
clown
oh,
carring
he's
enemies
the first of
towards you.
50.
Just like, no.
Yeah.
Get
Whereas
back
this
in
was
the
like,
clown
no, you
car.
have-
I did also like how you kind of took the cartoon side of it, because we ended up having a bunch of characters who were animals. So instead of having the ostrich being, you know, brutally murdered, he stuck his head in a pile of gold
Yes.
and was out of the fight.
I love that.
Shout out, I think that was Jacob's idea, and it was a great
That was
one.
Jacob.
Yeah, that was good.
That was good.
But yeah, it felt like if it's a kid-friendly game, we should keep it kid-friendly, was my thinking. Like, this is basically Treasure
Yeah.
Planet, right?
It wasn't like we did a lot of
Yeah.
swearing.
Yeah, apart from the swearing and the occasional nudity, this
Yeah.
is basically Disney World.
Oh yeah.
Titties to the
Hashtag
wind.
tits to the wind.
Sorry.
Tits to the wind.
Anyway,
I kind
Like
of
I said, I was
that one.
very tired.
Yeah.
I feel like pandemic exhaustion and sleep deprivation really works in our favour with this game.
Yeah, maybe.
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, like
It does bring us an interesting experience.
this is true.
Hello again, Dire listeners. Just another quick announcement before we get back to the episode. This week we once again have a pod pal to promote, and it couldn't come at a better time because, as we mentioned earlier, we're about to go on hiatus, so you can fill the Direcast-shaped hole in your life with our new friends, Gaze of the Round. Gaze of the Round is an actual play podcast where queer performers, playtest settings, and games by queer creators. Each season has its own story and characters, and at the end of each season the game or setting will be available to the audience for download. Their current season is That Dark Academia, which is a mystery horror setting based on the Genesis core rules that thrives on social encounters. Join 3 promising students whose last year at Heldholm University is disrupted when they uncover sinister secrets that they never imagined possible. I have been listening to them, listeners, and they are fun and spooky and mysterious, and that's just the world-building episodes they have out so far. I'm very excited to hear the story as it unfolds, but in case you're not sold on them yet, here is their own trailer for you to listen to.
Have you ever encountered a ghost in here?
I've seen ghosts before, but not here.
Lenore goes for a feint, emphasizing making Adalia have to try and favor that left ankle now.
She's gonna whip off her helmet and just say to you, next time don't insult me by bringing your B game.
Oh, my sister wants to see me tonight, so I might have to be late or duck out early for karaoke.
Claire looks sad.
If you keep going all night, I can probably make it.
Oh, I can go all night.
All right.
Promise me that I don't have to carry you back this time.
Does that feeling only exist in your room? You said that she was just in your apartment, right?
Right, but it doesn't. I've felt it elsewhere too.
Already spoken about it.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Lasers and Feelings.
Yes! Sir! Who led Lasers and Feelings?
It was me.
It was Peter. It was Peter.
If it felt like a fever dream, it was me. By the end of that, I started out kind of like I don't know how to build this world really. I am flying by the seat of my arse. and then by the end of it, I felt like I had done some funky mushrooms in a field, and then listened to throbbing gristle. It was a wonderful experience.
Very nice.
I'm glad you enjoyed yourself, Peter.
We changed the premise before we even started, because it's normally you're the Starship Enterprise or something.
Yeah.
Non-Enterprise.
Yeah. You're the Starship Surprise.
Hello, we are the Starship Surprise. We're
here.
here to, I don't know, let's find out.
Spin the wheel of lasers.
Roll for a problem. But we were just like, you know what? No, we're going to do faulty towers in space, because why not?
Yeah.
Because I think we said we'd already done a couple of things where we're on a ship, so you awaken in a strange place. And have we had any others? We must have done.
No,
but
it was Yar, because we
that
did
was
it
the
straight
choice.
after Yar.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yes,
that's why
Yeah,
we
so we're like, we've just been on a
But the yeah, that's because I was reading the latest Becky Chambers book, which is set. It's set in a motorway stopover in space. So I was like,
yeah,
that's
I like
an idea.
That.
I love the idea of just being like the flyover town of space.
Yeah. So nobody goes
such a
there.
cool
Nobody
idea.
has any reason to go there.
Yeah, it's basically just a petrol station
Yeah.
in the middle of nowhere.
Space
But
faulty towers.
it's manned by the military.
Yep.
For some
Such a
reason.
strange idea.
Why the fuck not? Oh, it was good fun. I mean, we've done the mechanics before with Fight Before Christmas. We will do them again with many another Lasers and Feelings hack.
I mean, that's the beauty of the lasers. I think Lasers and Feelings is the original, isn't it? I'm
Yeah.
not 100%
Yeah.
on
Yes,
that.
It is, yes, it is.
But
Yeah.
it's a very simple and easy to understand system, and you can repackage it a million different ways, and it always works well. I'm a big fan of the mechanic. I've used, again, with other people, when I play with other people, when I cheat on you. Lasers and Feelings
So
is
rude.
one that we do relatively often. Like, that is one that we keep coming back to. You can keep on the same universe and keep building it. You can just refresh and do a completely different universe. You can start playing after like 5 minutes prep. It's a very, very fun, simple system. And it allows your imaginations to take over.
And so flexible. I mean, the sort of original premise was that we were a crew of a spaceship, and then somehow we became a hotel, getting its inspection. So the flexibility you can have with just these two stats go mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's so much fun. Who was it who suggested it? Because this was a... I mean, we knew we were going to do it eventually, but we we did it as Jonathan.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you, Jonathan.
I think unfortunately he may have requested something more Star Trek themed, but we just ignored that.
I am sorry.
What we do.
I'm quite. I'm quite happy with how we. I'm quite happy with how we ended. I think someone mentioned. I don't know if this made it onto the recording, but while we were playing, I think it was Matt said that we ended up kind of doing a round robin of Great British comedy.
Oh yeah, it was all
God,
sitcoms, wasn't it?
Yeah,
all of
every
every
single
something
sitcom
or
there's ever
other.
been.
Yeah, because it's like the setup was, if I remember it right, the setup's basically Fawlty Towers, and then straight away, like Helen, you started basically
Dad's
playing
Army.
Klinger from MASH. Like fucking, then like I was basically Corporal Jones.
Yeah, you and I were Dad's
you and I were
Army.
both basically Dad's Army. Then like you had frickin' Gavin and Stacey going on from Wales, like trying to do all the maintenance, but it was also very Red Dwarf, as was like H, who basically playing a variation on Crichton. It was like there was as you said, it's a round robin of like
just generally kind of drizzled in Peter's Douglas Adams sensibilities.
And just some Douglas Adams dribbled over to garnish.
The best description
That's a good
of
way to describe Peter's
Douglas
setting.
Adams sensibilities.
Does
he have Douglas Adams sensibilities?
Yeah.
So
I thought it was great fun.
I enjoyed it a lot. It was just a lot of wacky fun. I enjoyed Derek the Slug. Why did we come up with the slugs?
We seem
What
to
a
just
weird
be
thing
really
for us to
into
suggest.
slugs. I don't know why.
I think.
Yeah, there was like the second slug in a row.
Derek the Slug.
No, I know where it came from. It's because we were I think I had to suggest like it had some sort of pest. And then I think Jacob was like, well, if it's a really like damp planet that smells a bit odd, shouldn't it be like some sort of slug? So I was like,
I think it came from the damp.
Yeah.
I would almost say about Lays and Fees, like it's kind of too much in our comfort zone. Like we've done it. We've done Fight Before
It's
Christmas.
almost too easy. Yeah.
We'll do it again. We will never stop. We could have a whole.
We will
podcast
become a
of
Lasers
just
and
Lasers
Feeling
Feelings
podcast.
hacks.
No.
Yeah, we literally
It's not
could.
my
It would
favourite
not be
system.
difficult.
I don't know why it isn't. Like you guys said, like I was agreeing with you. Like, yeah, it's only 2 stats. You can repurpose it for anything. I don't know why. I just don't find it the most like engaging as a system. Like it's very easy to play. There's nothing to put me off it. And I'm also not like Jacob. I don't play games for the strategy and for like the tactics and planning. That stuff just makes me go or get bored, one or the other, confused or bored. I want like storytelling, so it should suit me. But I don't know. It's fine. I would recommend people try it, but it's not my absolute
Maybe
fave.
it's almost too stripped back for you. Maybe it's like
because
other than your single stat, there's not much character build at all.
Yeah, that's true because it's not 2
plus
stats.
Abilities. It's
You
the
have
limit
a
is as
number.
much as you can.
Yeah,
You're just good at one thing actually, or you're average at 2 things, but like you actually only have 1 skill. Yeah, which I found a bit limiting. So
I think where it comes from
makes sense.
is that it's a game that the direction will come from the storytelling and not from the mechanics, and thereby the storytelling you have to be. This is a game which sort of puts storytelling front and center, which
which is surprising why I don't like it because I like that idea. But maybe it's just a character for me.
Maybe you do, or maybe you do need that sort of like. You do maybe you found out that you do actually need some mechanical direction.
Just a little.
Even just a little, yeah.
I don't know why. It sounds like I'm suggesting like
get
getting
you a
your oil
GPS.
changed.
Well, Vic maybe did need a little mechanical direction.
Yeah, they did.
New ink.
Peter, Lasers and Feelings character sheet.
Oh, I mean, if I could put it on a number scale, I wouldn't because I don't trust number scales. It was a 1-page RPG.
How many
It
banana
was quite
stickers?
well set out. I liked it. It was nice. Sometimes
good.
I enjoy
DC
it.
It's a very
Arrow.
aesthetically pleasing game to look at, just as
Yes.
the way it's laid out.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. Actually.
It's very nice. It's very console, as in like Starship console. I think that's an aesthetic that they really went with, and
that is the vibe.
So the one page looks really nice. I'd give it an Argyle sweater out of M&S. I don't know what I'd do.
It doesn't give you that much guidance for a character. You have sort of your archetype and then a number, and then the rest of it is just what you make of it. So maybe that's sort of coming out of what you were saying with H.
I seem to remember there was like I can be like a brash character.
Yeah, something like that.
And there's suggestions, isn't there? Yeah, there's like
brash.
Oh right.
Sorry.
Very good.
Savior of the universe.
Brash Gordon. He just went round telling people to F off.
Can I give you a banana sticker for that? Brash.
I giggle every time.
I still am not sure when you guys say banana sticker if you mean a sticker shaped like a banana or a sticker from.
I mean those little stickers that you get on the bananas. That's how I see it. It's like, I have a banana sticker. I don't know. It's something that like one of my mates at uni used to say when we DM'd about 8 years when we used to Dungeons & Dragons about 8 years ago. We used to give out banana stickers for particularly.
It became a thing, and the rest of us accepted it.
Yeah.
Matt, I have two questions. One, how many bananas did you have in the house that you were giving out real banana
No, we weren't
stickers?
giving out real banana stickers. It was like it's
yeah,
like
no, I remember
well
this.
done,
This was
sir.
the
You know, remember this.
I saw your house. There was no fruit in it.
Also, the thing about giving
Which friend was this?
Also,
the idea was that you can bribe the DM with them because the DM eats banana stickers or something. Anyway, sorry, go on.
But yeah, we wanted to do something other than giving inspiration because that's very D&D based. So we ended up coming up with banana stickers.
You were saying,
stickers,
Peter,
which we love.
Also, the thing about giving out banana stickers is it's quite a fair trade.
That was worth waiting for.
Thank you. I'm now going to go back to my hole and eat moss.
Lasers and feelings.
If Peter was a dragon, he would hoard groans. Lasers and feelings. So, yeah, any final thoughts on the lasers and the feelings?
I'd see why people enjoy it. I can't wait to see how people react to our rendition of it.
Yay!
The only other thing
John.
The only thing I think I'd add to Lasers and Feelings is I reckon of all the ones we've played, this might be the one I might recommend if you've never played before and you're with like one other person who has.
Oh yeah.
This might be the best starter one. It's super simple, but if you've got a DM,
and especially if you've got like that whole kind of knockoff, like Star Trek with the serial,
if you like Star Trek
conceit. Or totally. Even Star Wars, make it instead of Lasers and Feelings, you make it Light Side, Dark Side. That's
exactly.
Right there.
Saturday morning breakfast friends.
What a
Saturday
pleasure
morning
this was.
breakfast
Yeah.
friends.
Oh yeah, this came straight out of left field, and
straight from the source. The creator sent it to us.
Suggested to us by the creator, whose name I'm desperately trying to find. Saturday morning breakfast friends was suggested to us by the creator themselves,
the unknowable,
who emailed in. We do have a little thing on the Direcast site where you can email us in, and then H will send us all a message going, "Ooh, we had a suggestion from someone." And we all get really excited when that happens, so please do it. Don't send us dumber.
Hello there, Editor Peter here. I'm not being facetious here. The person who wrote in is known as The Unknowable. You can look them up at theunknowable.itch.io. Saturday morning breakfast friends, and yeah, you can find the game there. It's not me being an arse. They are literally the unknowable.
Send us fun ideas.
But
no dumb, just fun.
A lot of our fun is quite dumb, though.
Yeah, that's true. You're wondering whether it's fun or not. Would Peter like it? That's the,
totally. But yeah, I thought
that's the bar.
I thought Saturday morning breakfast friends was fucking awesome. I really enjoyed it.
It's so fun.
Yeah. And
I was like, as soon as I read it, I was like, I love this character creation system that's like madly.
Yes, that was
fantastic.
There's a couple. So like, it's very very Sorry, go on.
I was to part the curtain a bit. It's so fun that we were meant to play it for one session, and we did it for a second session because we didn't want to.
Yeah, it was so good. We played it twice.
Yeah. Basically, we could actually finish the first one. We just went, should we do it again?
Yeah, let's keep going.
I
This is so fun.
get so nervous when I GM because I have like a pathological need to make everyone around me happy, which is exhausting. So when I GM, I'm like, is everyone having a good time right now? So the fact that you guys were like, we want to play this again, I was like, fuck yeah. Luki for the win.
But yeah, it was like, we felt at the end of the first one, we're like, this is great. We haven't had our fill yet. There's more to do.
Gotta keep going with this game.
I mean, I'll go first. I think, like, speaking as somebody who's not particularly into superheroes, I kind of hate a lot of superhero stuff. I thought this was awesome. I thought it was the bit of superheroes I really, really like, because I think superheroes are fucking stupid, and so, like, therefore you should embrace it.
And if you want to write letters to Matt Lovett, don't.
Well, no, but this is what I mean. Like, speaking, like, you know, I'm not into Marvel. I don't really like superheroes at all. I think they're really silly. So therefore, when superheroes work, in my mind, tends to be when they're not pretending they're really serious, but when they're embracing their innate silliness, and this absolutely did that in a really great and fun way.
I hate a grimdark superhero.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I mean, there are exceptions. I do quite like that. You know, it's another debate. But yeah, I think there was some really unique things in this. I think that kind of straight up, like we've already mentioned it, the character creation I think was so much fun.
The character creation was insane, and like
fun.
nothing we've really done. It was great.
Yeah, it was an utterly wild method. So normally you would all be sitting round a table and you'd like pass me pieces of paper and then I'd shuffle them out to you, because we don't have paper that big. I've made that joke like 8 times.
You make it every time.
Now, and you laugh at it every time though.
I know. We're simple people, Luki. What do you expect?
Until you stop laughing, I'm going to keep making the same
but then it's going to be so awkward. The last time you make it, you'll just be like, yeah, the paper's not long enough, and there'll just be dead silence, and you'll be like, it's done.
Well, the podcast's over. You won't stop laughing. You guys are simple.
I can say that. You can't.
No, I love you all. You're easy to please there. What was I saying? So normally you would pass me paper, but obviously we couldn't do that because of the quarantine. So my least favourite cocktail.
You do have a pathological need to be
I sabotage my own ability to make it through a sentence by saying things like that. So instead I had them all fill out like a Google survey thingamajig, and then I just did like random number generation to fuck around with the order, mix them all up a bit, and then as they arrived in the chat I assigned them like a block of words and just sent them to them, and then they had to create their characters around these like things that they'd answered questions to. So it was, you just had such weird collections of things because you'd all taken the questions really differently.
I think it actually worked in our favour for making it bizarre, because I don't know about anyone else, but I hadn't realised what the different areas were and what they would end up. I didn't realise which parts were character creation, which bits were world building, which bits were Luki being like, fill out a form tomorrow.
I didn't know either.
Yeah, so we ended up with
was
some
Luki
really
sending you a
different...
message saying you haven't filled out the form.
we ended up with some really different and really bizarre prompts for our characters, because we didn't know they were meant to be character prompts, so there was nothing to even subconsciously guide them in a character prompt direction.
Steam power! It's fantastic!
It's just fantastic!
Yeah, I knew all of Matt's responses when I saw them. So it's like, team power, it's fantastic. My restaurant would be themed after a what was it? A Roman Caligula's
something?
Like a Bacchanal or something.
Yeah, Saturnalia.
A Bacchanal, yeah.
A Bacchanal, that was the one.
I will just say,
Benjamin Franklin, really cool.
Where steam power is just fantastic. The prompt was like, put 3 words to describe your character.
No, that wasn't that one.
That one.
That was a different one.
No, I think for that one I put something like bifocal genius. I was basically Benjamin Franklin.
Yes, that's what I ended up with. Yes. Varifocals, bifocals, genius, polymath.
Something like that. Yeah. I think Ben Franklin's
that sounds
pretty cool.
like that bit where someone's like to Tony, Captain America says to Tony Stark, "What are you without the suit?" And he's like, "Billionaire, playboy, philanthropist." But instead you go bifocals, polymath. Where did he say steam power? What is something fantastic or terrible? And Matt went, steam power!
It really is fantastic.
And Helen said, seeing the Milky Way properly for the first time after living in a city your whole life, the whole universe, so much beauty. It has always been hidden.
See, I read it as being terrible and fantastic, so went with existential dread.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's
person
where
after
we
her.
got Volcanica from, because I put volcanoes because they are
Yeah.
terrible. They
You
destroy
did,
stuff.
So you put volcanoes
But they're
together, and then
fantastic as well.
someone fucking put cheese.
Peter.
What? No. Look. I know my hands might be red. That doesn't mean I robbed the paint factory.
So H, you think that you would open a Robin Hood themed restaurant? Is that
No,
correct?
That was me.
Soup. I was soup.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't put too much soup into
No,
Great
I
Grandmaster
couldn't
Basil,
think of a
but-
theme at all, and end up going with Robin Hood.
I mean, I'm glad you did.
That was a lot.
Yeah, because then we got Lyle Loxley.
Lyle Loxley. He was fun to play to begin with. By the end, he was beginning to piss me right off. You're actually quite a terrible person.
This is why I don't like superheroes.
Well, that's why I that thing where you said you gave someone that nuclear atomic
Oh
arrow.
my god!
And we made that joke about them like developing superpowers from it. I was like, ooh,
I'm gonna take this and
which
run.
is where the
I
atomic
love
weapons
that.
came from. And I was like,
that so much. The reveal.
Yeah, that was really
here's
good.
a way to force Matt's character to see the consequences of his actions.
It was a masterstroke. Bringing it back to mechanics. So, what did you guys think about like the failure consequences?
That was really good.
I think that's
they
yeah,
were fun,
that's
weren't
so
they?
good.
like my going back a step. I think a couple of us expressed frustration with Lasers and Feelings being a bit too simplistic. This was exactly the kind of depth that I wanted from Lasers and Feelings.
Yeah, it's the right level.
So there's like something to do while
And
you
there was
like
a
rolled.
there was
so
a
you
track,
went up or down. Or...
and there was a
Yeah.
track. There's that track which also gave you kind of you really clearly had an idea of how the narrative was supposed to work. Like you were supposed to take daring risks at the beginning and fuck up, but then and lower the number. But then
you would learn.
But then you would learn
get better.
and maybe have a little PSA to boost your chances a bit, which means you're able to come around and pull it out at the end. And because you've been failing so much, your desperate heroics at the end are more likely to succeed. And that I just fucking love it when I think this is also what I love so much about Feathers, because there was a clear like narrative structure implied in the mechanics, and I fucking love it when mechanics and story work together.
Yeah,
like
they
shape
kind of
like
ideally
forcing-
shouldn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the fact
very
that sort of one thing we were saying with Lasers and Feelings, and this is not to throw Lasers and Feelings under the bus at all, because it is a good,
Not at all.
fun game, and we have expressed we do like. But the fact that they're both sort of the game where you have a number and you have to roll over it to succeed or under it to fail, depending on what you're doing.
Yeah, like Honey Heist.
Yeah, and a lot of them are sort of similar to this, but I like the fact the number changed.
Yes.
It's simple and easy to
I love
understand
that.
how it would change, but it really did affect, just like Jacob said, right?
Yeah.
The game is going to change. You'll have a beginning, a middle, and an end. It will follow the freaking Joseph Campbell hero's journey. It can't not do, kind of. Like, it's built in.
last moment.
Yeah, you're gonna get that, and then you're gonna I feel it's infinitely recyclable. I could have played 10 rounds of that. Like it would have been
The
great.
comedy was built in because you failed and you had the board to fail, and suddenly the balcony is made of cardboard.
Yeah, such
Or your mum calls you, or you end up falling into a manhole and ending up back at your secret base.
I really enjoyed the "it's made of cardboard" just because I think somebody said
That was so
cardboard
good.
glass, and I don't know if you can hear it on the
Oh, that
recording,
was
but I
fab.
lost my shit.
Cardboard glass.
Yeah, it is.
Because the fucking spaceship was made of cardboard.
Yeah, we got cardboard spaceship. Why not?
I also liked that the consequences table, it kind of, depending on what I rolled on it, it either gave me like, this is the consequence, or this is why it goes wrong. Like, you try to get up on this balcony, you don't succeed. Oh, the reason you don't succeed is that you forgot the balcony was sold due to budget cuts and now it's made of cardboard.
Genius.
Or the consequence of you failing at this is that you blast off into space and you meet your alter ego from another timeline.
Hello.
Hello. Which I really enjoyed.
Yeah,
it's just so much fun.
I guess, like, in summary, kind of riffing off what you've all been saying, I think this was so open-ended and free, but it gave you a really strong context. It's like, this is basically the X-Men TV show, but with the kind of slapstick comedy amped up to perfection.
Oh, yeah.
And it, like, gave you just the right level of freedom versus control. You know what I mean? It was the perfect balance. Like, there was so much room to ad-lib around, yet there was still a structure, and there was still, like, consequences that were going to surprise you, so it kept it fresh. Like, I thought it was brilliant. I really enjoyed it.
Yep.
I enjoyed it so much.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Like, we didn't even want to finish the first game. We were like, more, please.
Extra.
More,
An extra
please,
slice,
pizza,
please.
pizza.
Yes.
One thing that I found funny that's sort of, because of how the character creation goes about and because it's kind of very organic. So I had it in my head, you know, Saturday morning cartoons and very much like Powerpuff Girls-esque, like, you know, children/early teens who are superheroes. And then, so I've got Volcanica, who's this, like, very cutesy, very, like, pink glitter, you know, anthropomorphic volcano. And then we start off and there's, like, everyone's had a massive party and has hangovers.
The thing is, we had Layers and Feelings where we went through sort of a gambit of British comedy. I don't think we went through a gambit. I don't think we covered all. I don't think we even covered all genres of Saturday morning cartoons. We had sort of
no,
because I have no idea where Trickshot would fit into that.
I'll be honest. My one. Certainly, I felt like the alcohol humour was a bit out of place amongst everything else. And this is a self-criticism for me.
Yeah,
and I had trouble working out where and what Tripshot's entire deal was, because I was kind of going for, I don't know if anyone else will get this reference, but I was kind of going for like the Daredevil bard from Die.
Well, only I'm going to get that one because basically he's the more his character gimmick is the more recklessly he acts, the more likely he is to succeed. Yeah.
Okay, yes.
So
it is that drunken monk thing that you
exactly.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Die is a very,
Master.
very good comic, and you should read that person's other comic, which is Wicked and the Divine, because it's amazing.
Oh, yes!
Oh, The Wicked and the Divine is awesome. I know that one.
Yeah.
That was a big influence for like quite a lot of stuff that I've made, I think.
This week on Direcast Recommends.
Yeah.
I'm going to find out. It's Gillian Hans Cowles. Wait, no, that sounds like...
Alright, Peter's just distantly yelling at his microphone.
Peter sounds like he's coming to us from a manhole.
I will say, one thing with Tripshot is that it kind of reminded me of, like, the, you know, surprisingly gritty, like, you know, when you get a little bit older and you think back to, like, wow, Wolverine really was quite tragic and, like...
Yeah, he was the Wolverine of the group.
Yeah, he was actually, yeah.
Like, I feel like you could have, like, a prequel with him where he's, like, young and sprightly and he's in a group of, like, idealistic superheroes, and then they just keep dying around.
He's the Peter B. Parker from
he's the grizzled one.
Yeah. Into the Spider-Verse.
That's a reference we can get, Jake.
But from the worst future.
I think with the jokes, the alcohol thing was right at the beginning, so I'm not sure any of us are quite settled into how we were doing it yet as well.
Yeah, we're still finding.
So I don't think it was too bad, and like we just kind of like carried on.
I love that Helen just decided that Jacob and H were going to have a love story.
Yeah.
Wouldn't take no for an answer.
Which was like, that was brilliant.
I think something happened.
I did check that with H fairly early on.
Yeah,
Fair,
we did, and we didn't get to like segue it in, sadly. So actually,
I tried
Helen
so
about
hard.
It was great because we were like, yeah, that would be funny. Let's do that. I like that. That gives our character something to bounce off. And then we never really got to do it in the first episode. So when Helen started going like, "Oh, so tell me," I was like, "Yes."
You are very welcome.
Nice. No problem.
I'm the annoying
thank you.
anthropomorphic volcano that we all wanted and loved.
I love Volcanica so much. If I was a good artist, Matt drew a very cute Volcanica. I want to draw like a geographically accurate volcanic.
Oh, I had such a hard time talking to my volcano mum because I don't know anything about volcanoes, and you're a geographer.
I mean, speaking as not an expert either, felt like you did a good job. Like there was a lot of jokes in there that were my level and made me laugh as an amateur. Like,
yeah, same. Rocks and heat. Am I right?
Yeah. Have you been taking care of your magma? Yes, my magma's fine. Uncle Tambora says no, but like, I can't remember. It was very funny.
No, but it worked.
I did name a lot of obscure volcanoes. Volcanoes. I miss them.
But yeah, very good game. Would play again. Would recommend.
Thoroughly recommend
Absolutely.
Play again.
Seriously, go. We will put the link in this episode description, as well as obviously the episode description of those episodes. I've said episode a lot in that sentence. Please do. It's pay what you can for this game, so give some money to this creator.
All of your life
so
savings,
much fun.
Any money you've ever earned in your
give
life,
all the money you have. Elon Musk, if you would like to just hand over your company to this
Our number one
creator,
fan.
that would be
old
great.
musky Elon. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, your face.
Yep.
Cheers, Elon.
Yeah, he's reprogramming the Teslas so that as soon as you turn the car on, Direcast to start playing, and you can't stop it. It just keeps going on a loop.
You better make more content then, guys. Huh?
Yeah.
They might have to go on some really long drives.
And that's it for a few weeks, Dire listeners. But we'll be back on the 16th of June with brand new games and hopefully renewed vigour. But until then, thank you for listening to Direcast. If you'd like to keep up to date with episodes and announcements, you can follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Direcast, and on Instagram at DirecastPod, and subscribe to us on your favourite podcatcher. And hey, if you enjoyed listening to us, maybe consider giving us a rating or review, or sharing us with a friend. We'd really love that. Direcast is Luki Slinn, Matt George Lovett, Jacob Warr, Helen, Peter Wellman, and H Folkmans. Our logo and banner art are by H Folkmans. The music featured in this episode included The Miller of Mansfield by Thomas Arne, performed by Alice Braithwaite on bassoon and Luki Slinn on vocals, and Funkorama by Kevin McCleod. All other music featured in the episode, including the Direcast theme, was composed and performed by Matt George Lovett, occasionally with the voices of other members of Direcast. This episode was edited by Peter Wellman. Links to all of the games we discussed this week and their creators can be found in the episode description. And at least for this week, that's how the Direcast.
At exactly 10 o'clock. I feel like we should be very proud.